Okay, hello everyone and welcome to Anime-chan. Today I'm going to be reading my notes to you. I posted the highlights for episode 148, 149, 150 and 151 probably around an hour ago, and now I published my notes or my reviews, just me reading them out loud. From the last video I started splitting them because of copyright and blocks, and it just works better this way. Actually, I really like the fact that knowing that I'm going to upload this straight to YouTube, the review part, it makes me make less mistakes because I know I'm not going to be able to edit this. So then, yeah, I don't know, somehow knowing that just means I make less mistakes. Okay, so I don't want to get too into irrelevant stuff. Right now, I will be reading my notes to you guys for the episodes that you probably recently watched the highlights of. So let's begin. Okay, we're starting with episode 148. The episode's name is The Legendary Family, Liar Norland. Okay, so this is a map of Jaya, and considering stuff that happened like 400 years ago, I think, with Noland, I don't know, the L and the R, I guess, just it's translated differently, right? So probably this looked very different back then when he got to this island, but yeah, this is what it looks like now. Okay, the last episode was titled The Man Who Talks of Dreams and the King of Underwater Exploration, and I remember writing that the king of underwater exploration is probably Mont Blanc Cricket, and therefore the man who talks of dreams must be the Pie Man, revealed later in episode 151 to be Blackbeard. At the start of this episode though, Nami says the man who speaks of dreams lives here, which means that the previous title was probably only referring to Cricket, the man who talks of dreams and the king of underwater exploration. Is he both? I thought it was like, I don't think it matters much. I just wanted to point that out since I assumed wrong in the previous video. Okay, this is just a screenshot of Usopp saying, "Wow, that's a cool title. Nice idea for a book." I just love how Usopp is so aware of exactly who he is and not shy about it. That's why I have never had a problem with his lying. He doesn't really expect anyone to believe it unless they're enemies. Then he really tries, of course, because he's trying to beat them. He's totally upfront about being a liar, and even if someone does believe him, like Chopper does sometimes, it's not like it hurts anyone, except himself sometimes. I like that Usopp's lying is an obvious example of the moral ambiguity of our heroes. I've mentioned it before and people like pointing it out to me often too, but even though to us, Luffy and his crew are most often seen as heroes because they do so much good things, they're still pirates, and pirates by definition are not necessarily good people, you know. They are, I don't know, is it a pirate anyone who kind of like, they don't belong to, like, they're not a citizen of any country. They go from place to place without visas and shit, and I don't exactly even know what a pirate is. Like, what would make someone a pirate? Is it the looting part, stealing and that kind of stuff? I guess that's for us to decide, and as we watch the anime, maybe what a pirate is in our world isn't necessarily what a pirate is in this world. Okay, Usopp's lying serves as a reminder of that. We're always taught that good people don't lie, but in many cases, Usopp's lying is actually very helpful and used for good. For example, when he was fighting Mr. Four and Miss Merry Christmas, or when he was telling tall tales to Kaya in an attempt to make her happy. One could use these examples to argue that sometimes lying is good. It shows us that it's not always so easy to categorize people as that person is bad because they do X. It reminds us that morality and the goodness or badness of people is more nuanced than we were taught to believe as children. Okay, the story of Liar Noland, whatever, does something similar. It seems to take place 400 years before the current events, And since it's famous in North Blue, that must mean Norland, why do I keep making typos? And the king who believed him was from North Blue, probably. Here's an important detail. Sanji was born in North Blue, and this is a very cool moment. This deserves a badass point. I swear I'm going to make a video that talks about my definitions of badass and how I go about giving badass points, and that it's just a fun game that I do, that I give badass points for like fun, silly moments that I thought like, damn, that was some attitude, cool, blah, 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 blah. That's the kind of like badass isn't something, because I get so many comments of people saying, your badass point system makes no sense, Luffy should be first because and other things too, why Sanji should be first and why that and why this. And it's like, they don't get it. So I swear I'm going to make a badass points video to just, so if someone complains about my system, I can just copy and paste the video and say, there, stop complaining. Make your own badass point system. That is the point of the game. It's a game. Anyway, according to Cricket, the picture book wrongly depicts Norland with the grin of an idiot on his face as he says, the gold must have sunk into the ocean, but the truth is that he died in regret, with tears flowing down his face. This scene kind of looks similar to Goldie Roger's death. I definitely, when I saw this, I immediately thought of the scene here. But just because two scenes vaguely resemble each other does not mean they necessarily have anything to do with each other, or that they were intentionally paralleled. Sometimes similar things just happen in the world. These past 400 years, countless members of our family have come to this ocean to restore our honor, and we lost them all. I became ashamed of my family, so I ran away from home and became a pirate. It's not like I wanted to be one, I just wanted to be free of Norland's curse. In Norland's logbook, it speaks of a town called Villa and a passing merchant which sold him a curious artifact, a waver. Villa? I wonder if we're gonna end up seeing some of these towns that are mentioned here and there. A waver is a small one-seated ship that is powered by its own wind, even if there is none upon the sea. This sounds to me like what Ace has, or maybe Mihawk. But at this point, while reading these notes, I have watched episode 152, 153, and 154, and I've seen what a waver looks like, and it works with a dial thing. Oh dear God, and let me just point this out too while I'm here and I'm talking about this. I have mentioned this at least 3 times. No, I can definitely think of 2 times I've mentioned it explicitly, but I'm sure it's been 3 times at least, where I have said outright, I will tell everyone when I get spoiled. I have admitted to that. Whenever I get spoiled, I told you guys, I will tell you. And therefore, you do not watch my videos or reaction videos in general unless you are caught up with the anime. Like, that's kind of, I would consider it obvious. Like, if you are not basically done with the anime, don't watch a reactor's videos, because it's natural that I would talk about things. If I get spoiled on something, it's not like I'm gonna lie about it. So I'm gonna talk about it, and sometimes, like, because I consider you all caught up. So please do not watch my videos unless you are caught up, like, or almost done with the episode, because I have warned people that I will talk about, I will admit to when I'm spoiled on something. And yeah, so I a few days ago with my last video, actually, when I talked about Blackbeard being revealed as Blackbeard in episode 151, there was 3 people, I think, that went on about how I spoiled people, and I'm like, you really shouldn't be watching reaction videos, and especially not a person like me that talks about the facts in detail and has multiple times admitted to being spoiled on things. Like, I try and do my videos as natural as I can and as free-flowing, and if I'm spoiled on something, I'll admit it and I'll talk about it and I'll blah 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 blah. So, like, I've warned you guys, and please don't tell me in the future, oh, you're gonna spoil people. Like, don't watch my videos if you are not caught up. Okay, that is officially at least my third warning, but I'm not gonna do it again, so okay. Anyway, so I was saying I watched episode 152, 53, and 54 already, and I learned about dials. So I saw what a waiver looks like, and it's not what Ace has, and it's not what Mihawk has, but I mean, maybe how does Ace's boat work? How does Mihawk's boat work? It could be that they have a dial thingy in their thingy, and it uses that. I don't know. They might have been to Sky Island and gotten themselves some interesting artifacts. And I mean, how else does Mihawk's boat work? How does he just float around? How does he get from place to place if he actually wants to? I can't imagine him rowing like a motherfucker, you know, because you have to row really hard. Sorry, I didn't mean to swear, but that came out. Okay. Oh, that's what I wanted to say. Like, if I have to tiptoe around my own videos and worry about people who are watching who are not caught up, like, my videos aren't going to be as natural as they are, and I like keeping things natural and conversational. Like, if I'm going to have to worry about, because the thing is, I expect people not to spoil me, because everyone knows when they come onto my video, she's on this episode, and this is one person that I have to focus on not spoiling. I have to talk to 20 to 40,000 people, depending on how much views the video gets. I can't now adjust myself all the time, like, because then it just becomes not fun. So please, just make sure that you don't watch my videos if you're not caught up. Rather focus, like, if you're gonna spend time watching my review for 42 minutes to an hour and a half, like the last one, rather go watch 4 episodes of One Piece. Get caught up before you even think about watching someone's reactions to something you haven't even finished yet. Just my personal opinion. You don't have to agree, but in my defense, I have warned you now a couple of times. Okay, episode 149. Hard turn to the clouds. Find the South Bird. There are clouds known as cumuloregales clouds. The cumuloregales clouds pile high into the sky but produce no air currents or rain. When one of those is in the sky, not even the sun penetrates it, and on the ground below, day becomes night. This is like what happened to them a couple of episodes ago, and I really enjoy Oda's the time that he takes to explain things. Like, there's not a real thing like cumuloregales clouds. If he wanted to, he could just not explain anything. He could just say that fucking huge cloud, make it night underneath them, and it doesn't matter. Like, he doesn't have to explain anything. It's fantasy, but he takes the time to make out the facts behind some things and include real facts and like base it on like interesting. Yeah, I just really appreciate the effort that he puts into building this fucking amazing world that he has built. Sky Island is a and if you think about that, it seems like magic and fantasy to us, and it's interesting to read these descriptions of how and what is a cumulobladabidaba cloud. But imagine, even our world might seem like a fantasy world for someone from 400 years ago. Like, it's just so creative and amazing, but at the same time, it feels like even our world could seem crazy and amazing and, you know, like fantasy to someone from even 200 years ago. Anyway, Sky Island is apparently in or on top of that cloud, so I'm assuming that it's inside after watching episode 153, 2, around there. Sky Island is a 52? No, it wasn't 152, it was 153 when they... Okay, whatever. To me, it's if I watch 3 together or if I watch 4 together, that's one long episode. I don't remember which one happened what where. Okay, so I think it's in the cloud. The only way to get there is with the knock upstream, but we have now found out there are other ways to get there. We just don't know those other ways yet, but apparently they're more dangerous than the knock upstream, because with the knock upstream, either everyone dies or everyone lives, like the guy said. But so, like, what I'm saying is, there are probably other ways to get up there, but I don't think we'll ever find out those ways because this was the best way. The principle behind that monster current isn't beyond reasoning, but no one has ever been stupid enough to dive deep enough to investigate it. The theory goes like this, and this is the kind of information, world building, whatever, that I talked about just before. Below the ocean floor, there are large cave-like air pockets. Sometimes cool seawater leaks into them, into one of those air pockets. The geothermal energy from below heats it into a high-pressure steam, which creates an explosion underwater. The explosion upheaves the ocean water and forms a current into the sky. For approximately 1 minute, the sea is connected to the sky. The location of the explosion is different every time, and I just want to say, I've seen how they go up, and it was a fucking amazing episode. I was like literally on the edge of my seat. I was screaming. I was like, it was so good. I love that. It was really a magic moment. It was, wow. Well, it's, wait, what? The location of the explosion is different every time. And then there's a little parenthesis thing here, because some stuff is left out, but then he continues to say, it's a magnificent natural phenomenon. If there is nothing to land on, you'll come crashing down the ocean to the ocean's floor. Surface, oh Jesus. This is usually the stuff I edit out, but okay, let's try again. If there is nothing to land on, you'll come crashing down to the ocean's surface and become bits of seaweed. Sounds scary. Okay, blotted with tears, those were the last words that Norland wrote. And then the words was, I saw gold, the words were, I saw gold in the skull's right eye. And this is so like, it makes me think like, what if, see, here's the island, what if this was like, what if it eroded into this? What if, but no, could it be? No, those are too small. Skull's right eye. Then imagine if it was skull's right eye, but right eye, no, wait, right eye would be, cause that is the right eye, but it's my left. So, okay, but then, cause I thought maybe it was, if you look at the map of the island, maybe if it, cause 400 years is a long time, maybe the island, a lot of parts of it sunk, and what if that is like the right eye and it was there? But I don't know, it's a bit hard to believe. But it has to be somewhere there, and what is the skull's right eye? So confusing. Wait, where is it now? Oh, here. Oh, I'm already on episode 149. Oh, did I read that already? Oops. See, this is the kind of stuff I edit out, but now you get to see everything. So I saw gold in the skull's right eye, but if it was the amount of gold, a city of gold, like the skull's right eye, what skull is that big to have a city of gold or a lot of gold in it? We wouldn't know. You can't guess. Need more information. Maybe it's the name of a city that used to be here, or maybe it was a metaphor for his own inevitable demise. The blank pages that follow tell us nothing. May 21, 1122. Upon landing on this island, we heard a most peculiar bird call coming from the forest, and the sound of a very large bell striking. The sound of that great golden bell resonated far and wide, almost as if showing off the prosperity of a city long past. For those of us who have lived but mere decades, there were no words fit to describe it. We were spellbound by that ringing of the bell. I'm definitely reading not that great today. I apologize. But yeah, this is. I hope it's okay. The golden bell-shaped ingots is it ingots or ingots? Yes. It does not prove that the city of gold exists or existed, but it does prove that there was a civilization there. This was what Robin said. Ingots were designed to divide up gold into gram masses, meaning there was also trade commerce there. And then this is just a picture of the gold south bird. I don't know why I specifically saved this picture. Oh well. Episode 150, Dreams Don't Come True, Bellamy versus the Saruyama Alliance. It's funny how this guy, Sarkis, was easily beaten by Cricket, but the moment Bellamy stepped in with his devil fruit powers and a bounty of 55 million berry, that kind of power, of course he would beat Cricket almost effortlessly. Then Sarkis laughs while standing over Cricket and mocks him. What do you think of our captain's spring fruit powers? Speechless, huh? I say it's funny because he wouldn't have been able to do anything without Bellamy, and yet he still acts like such a big shot. After he got his butt kicked, and he had the audacity to stand over him and be like, well, what do you think of my boss's power? I have no power. I couldn't even beat you, but my boss, right? Like, what the fuck? It's ironic. Okay, I like how this contrasts with the fights we saw in Arabasta. Luffy was fighting Crocodile, Usopp and Chopper were fighting Mr. 4 and Miss Merry Christmas, Sanji was fighting Mr. 2, Nami was fighting with Doublefinger, and Zoro was fighting Mr. 1. To me, it's different because in some way, they can each stand on their own. They each gave it their all. They each ended up fighting in their own right, not relying on someone to come save them, not gloating about their boss that now is so strong. I don't know. It's a very different energy, right? The kind of people that they are. They work well together as a team, but when push comes to shove, they don't let their captain clean things up for them and then lord over the defeated and gloat about it. Some viewers in the YouTube comments have said that Bellamy and his men are an example of what real pirates are, i.e. pirates in our world, and I wouldn't really go so far as to say that. They're an example of some types of pirates, and maybe the majority, I agree, but even in our world, pirates were often seen as heroes, depending on which side you're asking, right? The same crew would be praised by some people, but if you ask others, to them, they would be villains. They would be bad people. So yes, Bellamy and his crew are more like what we generally expect from pirates, especially if your concept of a pirate was shaped by movies like Pirates of the Caribbean. Their actions and their captain are pretty much the opposite of Luffy and his crew and how they go about pirating. But I don't think they are, as people have said, more like real pirates. More than Luffy and his crew, because what it means to be a pirate and the pirates of the past, it's more complex than I think we know. The most famous pirates, I guess, were definitely more like Bellamy than the Straw Hats, but there are many instances in history where people became pirates in order to protect their hometowns. Just one example where pirating began with a good cause. So I read about these towns that would, the first sons or something, they would end up getting together and making a pirate crew in order to protect their town from bandits and other like pirates, and so that, but they became pirates to do that. And I don't know, it's just there were also the privateers, which people have told me is basically what the Shichibukai is. Sometimes it depends on your point of view. During wartime, nations would often issue letters of marque and reprisal, which allowed ships to attack enemy ports and vessels. Usually, these ships kept the plunder or shared some of it with the government that had issued the letter. These men were called privateers, and the most famous examples were Sir Francis Drake and Captain Henry Morgan. These Englishmen never attacked English ships, ports, or merchants, and were considered great heroes by the common folk of England. The Spanish, however, considered them pirates. So, all I'm trying to say really is that I don't think it's fair to say Bellamy is a real pirate, an example of a real pirate compared to Luffy and them, because being a bad guy doesn't make you a real pirate. Like, I feel like the definition of what a pirate is I understand that Google says, oh, a guy that pillages villages and steals and blah, 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 blah. But I think it really is more nuanced than that. I don't think that you can say, I personally wouldn't say Bellamy is a real pirate compared to Luffy and them. But by this definition of a privateer, the one I read here, I wonder if Luffy and his crew could be considered privateers. I mean, like when they were helping Arabasta, for example, or when they were helping Drum Island, there's just so much I don't know. I would have to do more research, but my point is just that there were lots of pirates in the past who actually did good things and others who started out with good intentions. Not all pirates were like Bellamy and his crew, and therefore, in my opinion, they aren't more real than everything what we've seen up to now. It's just that, like, it's not that I'm saying they're wrong, and I'm just trying to say, up to everything I've seen up to now is pirates and good pirating and whatever. I just don't think it's fair to say we haven't seen real pirates up until Bellamy entered the scene. I just don't get that. This is just a quote by Sarquis. When stealing treasures, what right could you possibly need? This is probably the type of attitude people refer to when they say Bellamy and his men are more like real pirates. I totally get that, but it's still fun to talk about the different kinds of pirates that existed, in our world at least. The Bellamy types were definitely not the only ones out there. I really love this moment. The full quote is, "A little chick who doesn't have the guts to fight against something he's never seen shouldn't be telling me about pirates." Like, this was one of my favorite moments. Like, he's such a, we only knew him for a short time. We haven't gotten to know him for very long, a couple of episodes, you know, but this moment makes such a big impression on me. And how he said that to Bellamy, like, actually deserves, he at least deserves to be on the badass list, in my opinion. Okay, episode 151, the 100 million man. 100 million, yes? The word, I can't, numbers, like, it's not just our president. Numbers, I need to read it in words. Don't just give me a lot of zeros. It's difficult. I'm not the number reader. Shame, no wonder South Africa's not entirely a first world country. I don't know, you get third world countries and the first world countries. Can you get second world countries? Does that exist? Because I think that's what we are. I'm joking. Anyway, and that guy isn't our president anymore, thank God, after 10 years. Imagine not being able to read numbers. Like, I don't have to read numbers. I'm not doing anyone's taxes. I'm not doing I watch anime and talk about this definitions of pirates and sometimes I muse about morality and blah 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 blah. Like, I don't need to know numbery things, okay? So it doesn't matter but imagine running a country for 10 years and not being able to say, like, 100,346,293. Like, if that's on the paper, imagine not being well prepared enough to read that number, and you're the president for 10 years. Like, I'm sorry, there's no excuse. Like, I have an excuse. I am not in charge of a bajillion people. I don't need to read numbers. I'm not in charge of anyone's finances. So I have an excuse. Mr. Ex-President, what's your excuse? Why? No wonder our country is where it is. After 10 years of your leaders. Anyway, I'm probably gonna get thrown in jail for that. I wouldn't. I hope. Anyway, Bellamy, why should I give anything back? I stole that stuff as a pirate. As a pirate yourself, you're in no position to find fault with me. And then he says, M2. I love this, so matter of fact. Like, he said it in such a, like, he's like, M2. But he didn't, like, mockingly say it. He didn't, like, M2. He just, like, he said, I am. Like, he is in a position, he can, if you can steal it, I can refute your stealing of it. He said, M2, they're my friends, so I'm stealing it back. And now looking back on this scene where he says, I hate to ask, but can you fight? Do you know how to throw a punch? after watching the episode, this scene is hilarious since Luffy literally defeats him with one punch. So cool. Someone told me that the fight was over much quicker in the manga and that Bellamy didn't land a hit on Luffy. If that's true, I wish they hadn't strayed from the source material in this case. I guess they didn't want people to feel disappointed that it was over so quick. Because, like, for example, in the anime, One Punch Man, he always defeats them with one punch, and then often people complain, oh, the fight was so quick, but that's the whole point. And I think here it was also the point, the fact that he defeated him in one punch, because that is the difference between them. Bellamy is leagues behind Luffy in terms of strength. As I've said before, I know that their bounties aren't actually their like official strength level. Like, there's no such thing as a strength level, I guess. But I guess, like, in terms of, let's say, Dragon Ball Z, you can there's more official, like, isn't there different levels of Super Saiyan and Mega Saiyan and Saiyan? I don't know, I haven't watched it in years. But so in Dragon Ball Z, for example, there's definitely different levels, and like with Bleach, there's different sword moves, and then you can use these moves, and if you're more powerful, you can use that move. I don't know. But here, the best indication we can get of their strength level is that will, or at least will give us a rough idea, is their bounty. So I mean, 100 million bounty compared to a 55 million bounty, Luffy is at least double his strength, right? Roughly. He's probably stronger even than double, but that's why one punch is all it needed, you know? Okay. Not only was what happened here so satisfying, the animation and Luffy's expression was amazing. It's like they somehow put their energy or just a lot of heart into their work. Somehow it really shows. I'm not sure how to say that. I don't know, but people who really care about their work, people who feel inspired by it, people who... But you can definitely see or feel some kind of difference when it comes to art. And to me, anime is art. It's an art of storytelling, visuals, music. Everything comes together in one. And that's why I love it, mostly. And I just feel like here, these kinds of scenes, they feel inspired. They feel like people put their heart and soul into their work, and I love that. It shows. Okay, then Luffy said, and I'm not sure if these are the right words. I tried to listen to the Japanese, but I really liked how he said this in Japanese. Osa no kinkai kyosuru. But kyosuru is the wrong word, but that's the closest one I could get. He said, the Osan's gold, his gold, give it. Disclaimer, I don't know if he said kyosuru, but he said something that sounded like it. It just sounds better in Japanese. Kyosuru means give in, yield. So I'm assuming he means the old man's gold, yield it to me. And I love that, like, they should give up and give it to him because he beat Bellamy. Like, there's no other way to say it. Just Osa no kinkai kyosuru. Like, his gold, yield. Give me it. I just really loved how it sounded in Japanese. And then here's a quote that something that Zoro says to Nami. A fight that leaves you with pity only brings pain. This quote by Zoro makes me think I actually missed an important thing in my analysis of the bar scene with Luffy and Zoro when Luffy and Zoro allowed Bellamy to beat them up. Did they actually pity them so much? Did Luffy actually pity Bellamy so much that he chose to stay and take a beating from him? Like, why did he not just walk away? They didn't need to be there. Could that be part of that whole scene, that he actually pitied Bellamy and he kind of gave him that win because it was like, damn shame, this guy, he has no dreams. He doesn't even have a shred of courage to face the unknown. Did Luffy feel so sorry for a man like Bellamy with no dreams and only his ego to keep him afloat? Regardless, I really love this quote by Zoro. I don't think that the scene, that scene with Bellamy can be pinned down to having one meaning anyway. It's a combination of things, as I've discussed, as I've said here, and as and about the whole Shanks parallel thing, and him learning from Shanks, him learning even from Vivi, and probably many people in his life, like how to choose your battles. As simple-minded as some people believe Luffy to be, and despite how shallow others want to paint him as, he's actually a very deep, complex character, and I really appreciate that about him. And this is why, like, I get that, you know, some things are opinions, but some things are facts. And I welcome people sharing their opinions, but you can't, and at least in my opinion, like, you can't, how do we put this? To some people, their religion is fact. They have had some esoteric experiences. They have been, I don't know, reborn. I don't know what kind of proof they used. And then their religion is fact to them. But it's still, you know, I guess it's supposed to be considered an opinion. Like, you can't just, because it's fact for you. There's some things that are factual and some things that aren't factual. But, like, what about, like, this? A character like Luffy having dips. I feel like something like that, there has to be some objectivity in terms of, like, yes, art is subjective. And you can justify your opinion in many ways. And I think there's specific types of ways that you share your opinion to make sure that's how it comes across. But then the reason I'm talking about this is there was a person that I asked something about, there was a poll about who's the best protagonist, Luffy or Eren. And Luffy wasn't winning, and I was shocked. And I was like, what? Because I've watched Attack on Titan, and Eren was from the very beginning. Many people only started to like him later, but I liked him from the very beginning. I loved Eren. He used to be, like, high on my list. And but then I started watching One Piece, and obviously things changed. Not just in terms of One Piece. I've watched other things up to now that I also like more than Attack on Titan, and there are still other characters that I like more than Eren. Not just One Piece characters. There are other characters as well. And I just retweeted it in that moment, and I was like, what? How is Luffy not winning, or what? Or I don't remember exactly, but then instead of replying and saying I chose Eren because these reasons, that person chose to reply and diss Luffy and try and tell me that he is a shallow character, and they try and hide behind, but that's just my opinion. But I know that this person doesn't watch One Piece. They have watched quite far, apparently, according to them. But at some point, I believe you cannot state, like, here's how you would explain that opinion. In an opinion would be, from my perspective, an opinion would be, I find it difficult to look at Luffy deeply because his idiotic nature is too prominent for me to care about the depth behind him, because I believe he objectively has depth, because he's a complex character. He's really well written. So I believe it's an objective fact that Luffy is deep. Like you said, he has depth. His character has depth. He necessarily might not, how do I put this? He's not brooding. He's not, he isn't Eren. But he thinks, in that scene, he didn't just mimic Shanks. He was ready to fight. He chose to, he changed his, he thought about it. There's many moments where he gets things that other people don't get. he's as deep as he is fun and all over the place, you know? And I just, even if you don't like one side of him, you can't deny the other side exists. I don't understand how people can do that. So I guess what I'm trying to say, like, can you say that an anime objectively has depth, even when other people don't see it? Like, even if it's their opinion, well, I don't think it's that deep. Like, can they have that? Like, obviously they can feel what they want, they can say what they want, but sometimes opinions are wrong. I'm not, like, that's true. Think about it. It's all in how you phrase them, but sometimes opinions are wrong. You can have your opinion, still wrong. Anyway, I've rambled. Let's think of an opinion that is wrong. Can we Google that? I'm wasting time, but here I am doing it anyway. Opinions that are wrong. Can you Google something like that? What comes up? La-di-da. Okay, let's quickly see. I have not pre-searched this, so don't quote any of it. I don't know the validity of any of this, of how good it's going to be. There's a common conception that an opinion cannot be wrong. My dad said it. Hell, everyone's dad probably said it, and in strictest terms it's true. However, before you crouch behind your shield of opinion, you need to ask yourself two questions. Is this actually an opinion? That's question one. And two, if it is an opinion, how informed is it and why do I hold it? Okay, I'll help you with the first part. An opinion is a preference for your judgment of something. My favorite color is black. I think mint tastes awful. Doctor Who is the best television show. These are all opinions. They may be unique to me alone or massively shared across the general population, but they all have one thing in common. They cannot be verified outside of the fact that I believe them. But see, Luffy's character depth can be verified. Cannot it? It cannot, indeed. There's nothing wrong with an opinion on those things. The problem, like I'm not saying Luffy is the best character ever. I'm not saying Luffy is better than Eren. Those are opinions. I'm not saying Luffy is deeper than Eren. Eren is deeper than Luffy. Like, I guess it depends, but Luffy, his character having depth, being complex, I feel like that can be verified, right? Because you just have to look at what do you mean by a deep character? Like, what is depth? What is depth? The quality of being intense or extreme. Wait. In the quality of being intense or... Oh, fuck off with your fucking fuck. I'm making mistakes and I would edit all of this out if I was editing these videos, but I don't have time. Where is it? Having the quality of being... Oh, fuck. There we go. Fuck off with your... Where is that? There we go. The quality of being intense or extreme. I proclaim this intense stare, this extreme scene, as verifying proof that Luffy is a deep character. I mean, think about it. All you have to do is you have to a point far below the surface. Like, there's more than just what is shown on the surface. There's depth. He's not just an idiot. Moments like this, like, can't this be considered, like, and this and many other scenes up to now, I'm a 10th into the story, but this and many scenes up to now, in my opinion, verifies his depth as a character. Like, I don't know. Sorry for all the fucking mishaps. I'm not gonna read much further, but just share your opinion on this matter, please. I believe that some opinions can be wrong, and some opinions can be better stated. Something like Eren or Luffy is better than the other is not something that can be proved, because it comes down to personal preference. But considering a person's definition of depth, if you can, not a person's definition, there is a worldwide accepted definition of depth, of character complexity. Therefore, a character can be judged according to those, on that verified, like, because a definition is a definition. The definition of depth, the definition of complexity can be, it's pinned down. It's I mean, even words themselves they're not facts. They exist because we decide what they mean. But if we can come to a conclusion on, okay, this is our accepted term of depth, then you can take a character and verify. You can't verify which one is better, because, I mean, even that you can, I guess. No, you can't. No, I don't think that. No. Because no, but I mean, at least we could come down to a conclusion of what does it mean to be a deep character or a complex character. Does this character there's no point in arguing if your definition of depth is different than my definition of depth, but there is a definition of depth. Like, I can't say, like, imagine saying this is this is vague because I don't know if it looks blue to all of you, but in my, okay. Even this looks yellow here. Green. This is green. If you were raised by people who thought it was funny to teach you colors mean, like, this is red, we could argue for years and it would always be green to me and it would always be red to me, but it's the same thing. But red and green doesn't mean shit. We made this is green, and this is blue, and this is smitten Ruiz, a pinkish red color, crimson. I don't know. We can even break it down even more. But at what point does, like, you can't just decide, okay, that is the world's definition of depth, but to me, depth means this, so Luffy isn't a deep character to me. That's my opinion. No. You can say you like Luffy, Eren more than Luffy, and you appreciate the kind of depth that his character, or how he expresses his depth, the kind of subjects that his character deals with, blah, 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 blah. You can give many reasons, personal reasons, opinionated reasons, whatever, for why Eren is a better, deeper character than Luffy for you, but you cannot deny the fact that Luffy, his character, has depth. Like, I feel like that should be objective. If you, like, depth has a depth has a factual meaning that it doesn't. Once again, words don't mean anything, but we have come to agree upon this as a generalized accepted fact. Just, you know, so I feel like characters can be measured in terms of this, and even if you say, well, his depth is not deep enough for me, that's an opinion, but saying he objectively does not have depth, in my opinion, no, that is wrong. I believe that's wrong. It's my opinion that you are wrong, sir. Okay, that's enough of that now. Talking shit now. Not talking shit, but I mean I'm rambling. Let's continue to the next session. This quote, blah, 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 I was here. Okay. Every conversation at this place, the holy land of Joie, seems, what language is Joie? Is it French? Okay, anyway, it seems really important. So I'm probably going to take note of pretty much everything, and I did. The world government, supreme authorities, the 5 elder stars, the Gorosei. So pretty much what the rest of the document is me literally making notes of things Not lots of discussions, no flow. It's just note. Take note of this, take note of this, take note of this. Okay. Number 1. Contact between Whitebeard and Red Hair is extremely dangerous. Whitebeard is the freaking giant dude we see later towards the second half of the episode, I think, and then Red Hair is Shanks. I almost forgot that until I saw him later on. They seem to have a relatively good opinion of Shanks. He is not a man who would try and upset the world himself. So they seem to have a good opinion, right? It sounds like it's definitely better than an opinion they had. I can't think of an example, but whatever. I think it's a good opinion. They sound like they know he's a kind of nice guy. I think I had too much sugar. Maybe that's why I'm so talkative. It looks like they were looking for a new member of the Shichibukai after Crocodile's defeat. We cannot take even one hole lightly. If the 3 great powers were to collapse, the world itself would fall apart. And as for the man who defeated him, Crocodile, we cannot allow him to run loose. Excuse me, he did you all a favor. Run loose? The least you could do is say thanks. I, to some extent, can understand why the public can't know it was a pirate who defeated Crocodile. It might cause some kind of panic or doubt in the capabilities of the current 3 great powers, whatever they are. Right now, I'm not sure. It's the Shichibukai and then the world government, and then... Or does the world government exist of the Shichibukai and then the Gurusei and then who else? But still, I hope they want to track him down and invite him to dinner to get to know him. Because seriously, if anything, they should want Luffy to be one of the Shichibukai, since he's the one that kicked Crocodile's ass and literally saved the world. If not for him, Crocodile may have found Pluton and done a lot of damage to the world and its people. Not that I think Luffy would want to be in one of the Shichibukai, but I'm just saying they don't know that. And now I forget how much was Crocodile's bounty before. I think someone said like 85 million berry or something. Before he was Shichibukai, because obviously their former bounty, well, as it says here, is it's paused, basically put on pause. Okay, so here is this guy, Don Quixote do Flamingo, with his fancy coat and skinny legs. And then there's Mr. Bartholomew Kuma, kind of like his name, Bartholomew. Looks quite intense. Only a little bit less, like 44 million less than Mr. Flamingo here. This is Navy HQ Vice Admiral, Great Tactician Tsuru. She looks quite cool. I like her. And then the guy with the goat. I like goats. Saint Sengoku. Sengoku the Buddha. There are two different translations. One is from Crunchyroll, one is from Kaizoku Fansubs. Kaizoku Fansubs says Sengoku the Buddha, and Crunchyroll says Saint Sengoku. And then this guy was reading the Bible. As in the Christian Bible? Okay, why? I don't know. We'll find out eventually. Even Don Flamingo seems surprised or impressed by Mihawk when he shows up. I'm going to assume for now that means that means Mihawk is stronger than Flamingo. So his bounty probably would have be more than, wait, where is it now? 340 million. Because I think, and someone told me, even though I don't know, I guess it doesn't matter that they did. Mihawk's bounty or former bounty was never said in the anime or manga. So yeah, I'm gonna be guessing at what it was. Maybe seems like it was. It seems like he's stronger than. I feel like he has more of a presence than Mr. Flamingo. So Flamingo-san. So I'm gonna assume Mihawk's former bounty was more. Okay. The Marine headquarters and the Shichibukai, having two conflicting groups of equal power sitting at a round table, seems to be entirely meaningless. Mihawk. Interesting quote. This is Lafitte, one of Blackbeard's men. He was a famous peacekeeper known throughout West Blue. but his extra violent tendencies caused him to be exiled. So he's exiled from West Blue. Google says peacekeeper is a noun. That means exactly what it sounds like, a person who tries to keep things peaceful, often by mediating conflicts or calming people down. And then I saw this, what is the difference between a peacemaker and a peacekeeper? A peacemaker is someone who is willing to resolve both outer and inner turmoil in order to establish peace with others and within themselves. A peacekeeper, on the other hand, desires to maintain peace by avoiding conflict. So, based on that definition, this guy sounds more like a peacemaker. So he's like, we're not going to fight, I'm going to kill you because I want to keep peace. I want to make it peaceful. Why am I talking like this? No idea, because he doesn't seem like that kind of guy. But I'm just trying to be forceful, like he sounds like a peacemaker and not just a peacekeeper, because it is about what are these extra violent tendencies that caused him to be exiled. I don't know. I'm not sure if this is relevant in terms of who Lafite is, but I looked it up just in case. Whether the story makes use of the same definitions, I'm sure I'll find out sooner or later, so please don't correct anything in the comments about peacekeeper, peacemaker, what it means, what he is. No comments. I will be starting reading the... What am I going to read? The manga. God, I forgot the word manga. Let me just go here and here. This is my schedule for, that's done, for my Patreon. So this is all the anime that patrons get every day. And I am able to start the manga on the 3rd of November. I don't know if I'm going to post the video that day. These are not the days I post the videos. Like, I watch One Piece every Tuesday and Friday, but that's not when I post the videos. That's just when I watch. And then upload for patrons. So yeah, I can start reading on Sunday, it seems, if all goes well with my schedule. And then I can read every Sunday from then. I'll probably read like for an hour to an hour and a half, 2 hours. I don't know, it depends on how it feels and how much information. Not sure if I am going to read and make notes as I read. Not sure if I should do videos at all, to be honest. I'm just gonna try. I have never done it before, so gonna have fun with it. Okay. Crunchyroll. This is the quote from Crunchyroll. I've come to recommend a certain man for the 7 warlords of the sea. The Kaizoku fan sub says, I am here to nominate a certain man for the position of Shichibukai. So the Crunchyroll subs basically confirm how many Shichibukai there is. Apparently 7 without Crocodile. It seems like there are only 6 left. And I wonder if there is any reason why they specifically have to be 7. Seems like there's 7 Shichibukai, 5 Elder Stars, 3 Great Powers in total. Not sure what those 3 Great Powers are. Maybe Shichibukai is one, 5 Elder Stars is the other one. And then who? The Navy? I don't even know who the 5 Elder Stars are right now. Is it like the opposite of the Shichibukai? Are they? I don't know yet. We'll see. Then there's this guy. At first I thought this guy doesn't look important, but his bounty is almost as much as Luffy's. Then I thought, whoa, he has to be important in some way if they're going to pause on his face like this and show us his bounty, which is a lot. Initially, I believed he must have done something almost as big as defeating Crocodile to have a bounty this big. But then I remembered Luffy's bounty jumped from 30 to 100 million after defeating Crocodile. That doesn't mean this guy did something like that. He might have just been active for a very long time without being caught, and in this way his bounty could slowly but surely have increased to this much. And that reminds me of something interesting I read. I read that the most famous pirates in history... Let's start again. I read that the most famous pirates in history probably weren't the best out there. The reason they are famous is because they were caught, and their crimes were taken record of in court or wherever pirates are trialed, like, you know. And that's why the record of their crimes were found and distributed, and their fame grew because of that, you know. And that's how they got so well known. It's kind of interesting to think that the best pirates would not have been caught, and therefore no record of them would exist, like such a detailed record where we can learn about them and distribute them. This is the pirates, and they could get famous, blah, blah, blah. So blah blah blah, they are not as well known as someone like Blackbeard. Blackbeard in our world, not in One Piece. So Blackbeard in our world is one of like the most well-known pirates, but he was caught in the end, you know, as far as this article was, because I read an article about it. So I think he was caught, and then his crimes were taken note of, and that is how he got to be so well known through that trial, and then that got out, and I don't know, people now, I guess, not archaeologists, but people, they obviously learn from those kinds of documents. Things have to be properly documented for generations later to actually be able to learn from them. Like, it has to be official documents and blah 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 blah. To be considered part of history, it has to be some kind of process like that, right? I don't know the validity of this statement, but it does sound very interesting when you consider it, that the best pirates out there were never caught, and so their crimes were never taken toll of. They didn't get an official document. That wasn't, you know, they didn't get that, so they got away. The best ones get away, right? Okay. Whitebeard is freaking huge, and he seems to have a fetish for nurses, which is interesting. Not my thing, but interesting. I'm not gonna say, like, there are some types that I like too, but nurse is not really my thing. I'm gonna think of Whitebeard like Brock, because Brock had Brock had a thing for nurses and what's the other one? Nurse Joy and Officer Jenny, right? Anyway, he's freaking huge. What the heck? I'm guessing he ate the giant fruit, or is he the son of a giant? No idea. But damn, he's huge. This can't be just perspective, right? This is like, he's fucking huge. Anyway, he said he believes Shanks' urgent letter to be about Ace and Blackbeard. Also, his real name is Edward Newgate. Note to self, this is the man who Ace wants to make the king of the pirates. He said so to Luffy back in Arabasta. More new characters. The champion wrestler from before is Jesus Burgess. The champion, he is the helmsman. Not sure what a helmsman is. Can someone just give me the definition of that in the comment section, please? The Pie Man was revealed to be Blackbeard in this episode, the captain of the Blackbeard Pirates, Marshal D. Teach. The guy who shot the pelicans that fell on the Going Merry while Chopper was watching them is the Blackbeard Pirate Sniper, the Supersonic. They have these cool nicknames. His name is Van Augur. Cool name. The guy on the horse who gave Luffy an apple to eat, which luckily, an exploding apple to eat, which luckily was a dud, is the Blackbeard Pirate Doctor, the Reaper. His name is Doc Q. And Lafitte is also part of the Blackbeard crew, but I don't know his role at the moment. Navigator maybe? Entertainment? We'll see. Obviously in my notes from the last video, I did talk about my theory about the Pie Man, which is clearly now has been proven to be very, very wrong. I still have many questions, obviously. The main ones circling around the D. How are these characters connected? Gold D. Roger, Monkey D. Luffy, Portuguese D. Ace, Marshall D. Teach. It feels like Roger, Luffy, Ace, and Teach, they all have like black hair. They have similar like personalities-ish, like talking about dreams, and you know, they have these magnetic characteristics about them, right? So they kind of seem like they have to be family in some way. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Okay. Thank you guys so much for listening to my review. The last one was kind of crazy. I did not expect so many people to listen. I didn't expect so many people to listen, but I wonder if maybe some of them just like they thought it was another video, and then they clicked and then they were like, oh shit, this is the review. Damn. But there were so many people who did send blue hearts and meat, and I was really surprised. Really, people who actually listened to me talk for an hour and a half about my thoughts. I hope that you guys enjoy listening to me. I hope that you laugh at some of my crazy series. I hope that you laugh with me in general, or at least entertained by my thoughts in some way, or find them interesting. I think I'm gonna keep doing the whole, like, if you listened up to here, send, because there's 3 stars in my earrings, 1, 2, 3. Well, there's 3 on this side too, but there's 3 on each side. So just send maybe 3 stars if you made it all the way to here. Once again, if you want, you can put your Instagram @ or Twitter @ in the comment, and then I will make sure to follow some of you back. Okay, thank you for listening to me. I'm gonna upload this straight to YouTube now, and then I'm gonna finish the video inside the highlights. All I'm gonna do is add the Patreon shout out at the start, and then the end card that says you can find the link to the unlisted review in the pinned comment, blah blah blah. So then I'll export it, upload it, and I'll post it tomorrow night. Okay, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.